Hi everyone, welcome back to One Man's Journey. I hope you're having a great day. Today, I'd like to review another multi-tool. We'll make this a multi-tool day, shall we? This one is more one that I really rely on. I've had for a while now, a good few months, and it's really kind of educated me about the usefulness of such items. I was never really a big multi-tool person. I'm not that hands-on or practical. I worked in an office, and but I find that this was actually really useful at home and when I was out of the house as well. So without any further ado, I give you the Victorinox Farmer. What can I say? Generally very well reviewed on the internet, so a lot of information's out there, unlike the Mistral multi-tool that I reviewed earlier. There is a lot of information out there, so I don't want to go through all the fine details or all that kind of stuff. Let's not reinvent the wheel. It's really good. I find it really useful. And I just want to tell you why I find it useful as just an average guy. First of all, there's a price. One of these is about £25, like $35 on Amazon. So that's pretty reasonable when you consider that to get like a Leatherman, especially a full-size Leatherman, you're talking, 80, £90 here in the UK. Is probably cheaper in the US. That's a lot of money for something that you could lose, or break, even though they got their guarantee. That's a lot of money. This is £25, beating up on it, using it till it breaks, losing it is not the end of the world, right? Although you will get quite attached to it. Let's look at it in a bit more detail. There it is, there's a front. It's got a nice silver finish. This is called aluminium oxide, or ALOX. That's the front. That's the back. Little ring for like a lanyard or something. What's cool about this tool is the back doesn't actually have any tools on it. So it's kind of smooth. So when you grip it, one side is totally smooth. All the tools are on the other side. Let's look at them very quickly. You got flathead screwdriver. Notice that was effort to take out, right? That's because these really lock into position tight, and that's really good. The mechanism is pretty sturdy, and that means that you can put some torque on this whenever you're turning a screw, pardon the pun, without worrying about it flicking off or flicking closed like that. It generally takes quite a bit to do, and then it also has a lock at this position as well, which is handy. I've used this, I've put quite a lot of force on this, and it's been okay. And you do feel quite a lot of confidence because of how sturdy it is and how sort of nice and positive that lock is. So that's really good. Bottle opener, cap opener, that works. I mean, it just works fine. I don't use it that often for that. On the other side, you have a can opener. I've heard these work really well. I don't really spend the time to do this, to use one of these to open a can, but I've heard they work really well. This has been really useful. This sort of smaller flathead screwdriver, it does work with Phillips head screws. I've done that quite a lot, and it really works. And when I say a lot, I mean around the house, removing light fittings, plugs, that kind of thing. It works in the garden, putting a barbecue together, all those kind of things. This will do. And again, nice positive lock, no problems. And for like a novice, like me, or maybe you, it's really nice to not have to worry about these things closing on your fingers too much. It's got nice positive lock. As long as you're careful with it, you'll be okay, and definitely a lot better than some of those kind of budget kind of multi-tools. So let's just close that. Moving on, it's got quite a large, for the size of the blade, for the size of the tool, saw. And those teeth are really good. They're really sharp. How useful is this for like everyday carry, especially if you're commuting or in the city? Not really useful at all, I would say, probably. It's cool to have for the garden, for around the house sometimes. This desk, when I brought it into this room, was too big for the door, so I had to cut two of the legs off to get it in. And I had this in my pocket, and it did the job perfectly. This is hardwood, and this will go through most things that are within that diameter pretty well. So in a pinch, it really does work. I would say if you've got a bigger saw handy, definitely use that for any kind of task. But it's good to know that it's there. And I actually don't mind it because it adds a little bit of thickness to this. I don't like knives that are too skinny. I find them harder to grip. This fills the hand very well. So I don't mind that extra tool, even just because it provides that kind of additional grip. Then we have the blade. So there you go. Pretty standard Victorinox knife blade. Let's not go into it too much. Good shape, good for all kinds of things. Like it's just a general all-purpose blade. And again, the lock is strong enough. Cutting through cardboard I've done with this. Rope, all kinds of stuff. Very useful, very easy. This comes reasonably sharp. So if you're not really used to handling knives, I certainly wasn't. I cut myself a couple of times on it. Just bear that in mind. It comes quite sharp. And it's easy enough to sharpen again with like one of those little hand sharpeners you can get from Victorinox on Amazon. So pretty cool blade. It's under the UK limit for legal carry in terms of length, under 3 inches, and it's non-locking, so you're safe there. Again, if you pull one of these out in a nightclub, you're still going to get arrested. I mean, why would you have an open one of these in a nightclub, really? You can get arrested for anything if you're treating it as a deadly weapon. But if you've just got this, you know, carrying it around in your pack or whatever day to day, you should be okay. Finally, you've got an awl. If you're like me, you're probably wondering what an awl is. I certainly was. Again, I'm not that familiar with this kind of thing. What it is it's basically like a drill kind of thing. You can make holes. You can make holes in leather, holes in wood. What I really use it for is for making holes in wood from time to time, or in plastic. Whenever you need to fix two things together with, for example, a screw, but there isn't actually a pre-made hole there, this will serve in a pinch to make enough of a hole to get you started so that you can then, you know, get a screw in there. So it's pretty sharp. It has a fine edge along the back here. So you can sharpen that even more if you really want to. And what I find this actually genuinely really useful for is you can open packages with it. You know those hard plastic packages you get, like with headphones and stuff? You can just stick the sharp edge in and then drag it along and it'll just nicely slice right through it, really nicely. And it's short enough that it's easy to control. If you do that with your knife blade, the knife blade may go in too far, you might damage what you're opening. So just, you can draw that along pretty nicely. And that's it. So not many tools, but well put together, really well made. And if you're like me, you'll find that even though you're not a big sort of knife guy or multi-tool guy, it's one of these items that just has a really nice feel to it. The way it's constructed, when you're holding it, it just feels solid, it feels nice. You find yourself sort of just kind of admiring it from time to time. Maybe this is just me and I'm a bit crazy, but it's definitely one of those nice, well put together items. So yeah, I hope this review was useful. It's just my 2 cents worth really as a total novice. These are pretty cool tools and they're only 25 quid or so. So if you're in the market for something like this, definitely pick them up. You won't regret it. And yeah, with that, thanks very much for listening. Have a nice day.